In June 1994, a young single mother packed up her car and her son and headed to Carson City, Nevada, where she planned to move. The woman was named Christine Skubish and her son is named Nicky. As they rode down Highway 50, it's surmised that Christine fell asleep behind the wheel and the car rolled down an embankment. The crash resulted in Christine losing her life, but miraculously, her son lived. Nicky, who was 3 years old at the time, remembers not realizing that his mother was dead and not understanding why she wouldn't wake up. For 5 days, Nicky laid curled up beside her, not eating or drinking anything, and he managed to survive through the cold nights. He reports that while he was in the car, he saw and felt the presence of a woman that he now believes was his mother in an angel form. It's interesting to note that when Nicky was found, he was naked. This is important because for 4 days after the crash, a woman named Deborah Hoyt and her husband were driving down the same pass when Deborah claims that she saw a naked woman on the roadside. It was nighttime, but Deborah was sure of what she saw. The woman was lying on her side, facing the road with one arm under her head and the other arm on her side. She told her husband, but when they debated whether or not to turn around and investigate, they decided against it in case it was an elaborate ruse to carjack or rob them. They reported the sighting to the police, but being it was late at night, nothing was easily visible. Police returned the next day and found a tiny sneaker in the road. The officer who discovered this followed his gut and got out of his car to search the area. Down a ravine, he found Christine's car wrecked and mangled. He checked her pulse, found her to be deceased, and then checked her son. The little boy was naked, covered in blisters from poison oak exposure. His skin was blue from hypothermia, and he was severely dehydrated. The poison oak is interesting to note as well because it implies that he must have left the car in order to make contact with the plant. The discomfort of itching and oozing sores would likely explain why he took off his clothes. As far as authorities could tell, he wasn't raped or molested. Surprisingly, Nicky survived, and when he was asked by his family about the experience, he reported that he wasn't alone. The presence he felt is claimed to be his mother or a guardian angel. There was also a bright light surrounding the car after it finally settled at the bottom of the ravine. Some people speculate that it was Nicky that Deborah saw that night, but she insists it was a naked woman. Is it possible that Christine struggled up the ravine and collapsed looking for help? The issue with that theory is, when she was found, she was fully dressed and buckled into her seat. Apparently, Christine's aunt dreamed of the wreck, and these dreams and the lack of communication from Christine made her family report her missing. What then are we to conclude? Many believers of the spirit world say it was his mother, appearing in a ghostly form, desperate to help save her son's life. Religious people say the naked woman was an angel that guided Deborah and the police to Nicky. What do you think?